B'shas I'm thinking about the moments we stood by the Rebbe on Hey Teves, b'shas the Rebbe came down, Hey Teves Tov Shem Mem Zayin. I could only think about the Nigun. Der Rebischter wird geben gesund und leben, weil mir sich sehr mit uns. Nu? Der Rebischter wird geben gesund und leben, weil mir sich sehr mit uns. I Reben you. Rebbe, 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 wenn will mir sich sehen, wenn will mir sich sehen, I know. Today, ya, 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 ya. Ay, te de da, ma, ya, ya. Ay, ya, 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 te de da, te de ya, ya, ya. Te de ya, 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 la da da da, ma, la da da, yo, da, ma, la da da da. Ay, la da da da, la da da, ya, ya, la da da, ya, 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 la da da, ya, ya, la da da da. Ya, 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 la da da, ya. Ya, 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 la da da da. L'chaim, l'chaim. We all know that Teves was a inin l'maylam and a teva from the beginning. The Rebbe spoke about it in the first Sikha. The Rebbe said that b'shas the three people who walked into the Friedrich Rebbe's room haben gleich gesehen, Bnei Odom haben sie gleich gesehen. Sie waren Meifes von der Siderenu. And then later the Rebbe said, but the next Sikha, das Woftam, was the Rebbe said, al b'shas the person who walked in and took the books, he became sick. And then when he was thinking about giving back the books, he became already better. But gesehen in Yonif and Maylam Ateva from the beginning. So one of the B'chlal b'shas, the Yonif and Teves, as more we learn about it, as more we think about it, as more we dwell into it, we see in Yonif and Niflois Mamish. One of the niflois from Teves is, as everyone knows, as the erste Zach we have from Rebbe, the first thing we have from the Rebbe, from Rishimis HaYuman, is from Earle Yem Gimel Hey Teves. The first thing the Rebbe ever wrote in his Yuman, and everyone could check it out in the book of Rishimis HaYuman, Agam, that we have letters from the Rebbe from before to the Gachover, we have even a letter to the Rebbe to the Fidiki Rebbe from Peches, but something from the Rebbe from when the Rebbe started to write his Yuman, his diary, after his wedding, as we all know, Yudalat Kislev, the Rebbe said, does the Torah verbunden mir mit euch. So something that the Rebbe started to write. The first thing the Rebbe wrote is from Earle Yem Gimel Hey Teves, and as everyone knows, and it's already people wrote about it, that every one of the Hey Teves, every one of the Dan Notzach was always on Tuesday, Yem Gimel. And the erste Hey Teves was Yem Gimel Hey Teves Tov Shem Mem Zayin. So here the Rebbe wrote, the first thing the Rebbe ever wrote, something which has to do between the Rabbeim, is Earle Yem Gimel Hey Teves, Tofesh Peites, 2 weeks after the Rebbe's wedding, 3 weeks after the Rebbe's wedding. But b'shas you learn what the Rebbe wrote there, the Chassidus, the Maimer that the Rebbe Rashab said at that vision that the Friedrich Rebbe saw. The Friedrich Rebbe called the Rebbe in to this room, and the Friedrich Rebbe told him that he saw a vision of the Rebbe Nishmos Eden on Eir L'Yem Gimel Hey Teves. But b'shas you read what was the Maimer, Keitev O'Inyan, as the Rebbe's father, Rebbe Levi Yitzchok, writes to the Rebbe, please, Eidieni Teichen Achsidis Shero B'Chalem, Sheshoma B'Chalem. Let me know what was the Chassidus, what was the Maimer the Rebbe Rashab told him in his dream. What is the Maimer? So the Rebbe writes very bekitzer, and the Rebbe writes, Keitev O'Inyan, what was the Nekuda of the Inyan? The Inyan von Avedas Anisyenes. Mehrere Wort. And the Rebbe writes, the Chiluk von Birur und Nisoyen. Very short. Inyan Avedas Anisyenes, the Chiluk zwischen Birur und Nisoyen. What is the difference between the Birur, Avedas HaBirurim, and Avedas HaNisyenes? What is the Chiluk? Anybody who learns Chassidus knows the difference between Birurim and Nisyenes is that Birur is, for example, Chassidus gives an example. What is Birur? When you have a piece of bread, and there is a nitzutz elokei in the bread, and therefore, why we have to eat bread? Because there is nitzutzim from Eila Mateo in the bread. So b'shas ha'yid makes a brocha, he makes a blessing over the bread, and he eats the bread l'shem shamayim, so he's mevarer the nitzutz in the bread. That means that zich misasek, you are busy with the piece of bread. You take the piece of bread, you make a brocha over it, you wash your hands, you make a brocha, you make a blessing, and then you so you are busy, you misasek with the bread. Das is Avedas HaBirurim. There is a Metzias, there is a bread. It's a real thing. The Eibishter created it, and there is a nitzutz in the bread from Eila Mateo, and you have to be milet that nitzutz. This is Avedas HaBirurim. What is Avedas HaNisyenes? The Rebbe says in the Maimer. In that Maimer, the Rebbe Rashab said to the Friedrich Rebbe in the Chizoyim from Hey Teves, Tovesh Peitez, HaNisyenes is Azach was b'chal nish b'mtzius. It's not existing. What is it? It's only an nisoyin for you. As the Rabbi explained in Chassidus, that when you have a nisoyin, the Aveda is with you, not with the nisoyin. You have to work on yourself not to be nispol from the nisoyin, because the nisoyin is no mitzias. Why am I saying this? Because b'shas you think what the Rebbe spoke in Shabbos Vayichi, Tov Shin Mem Zayin, the first Farbrengen after the end of the Shivas Yemei HaEkev, the 7 days of Hey Teves. The Rebbe spoke about Hey Teves the first time in Shabbos. During the week, the Rebbe spoke sichas about Hey Teves. But by the Farbrengen, the Shabbos, by the Farbrengen, the first time the Rebbe spoke about Hey Teves was Shabbos Vayichi. Opening about Hey Teves. And what did the Rebbe say about the Farbrengen? So here, Tov Resh Petes, but the Chizoyin for Rebbe Nishmos Eden, what was the Chizoyin about? The Chiluk from Avedas HaNisyenes and Birurim. And then the Rebbe comes, Shabbos Vayichi, Tov Shin Mem Zayin, so many years after, and the Rebbe says not to write any book about Hey Teves. Why? Not to write Vayihi B'mei Achashverosh. Not to write, the Alter Rebbe didn't want to Chassidim should write a Megillah Vitas Kislev. And the Rebbe says the same thing, not to write a whole thing about what happened. And the Rebbe says why? Because the ganzer Inyan von the Rebbe said was a Nisoyin. And what is a Nisoyin? The Rebbe brings the Medrash from Avram Avinu. What does the Medrash say? The Medrash says that Avram Avinu went to the Akedah. And when the Sultan saw that he is going, he made a lake. And Avram Avinu went into the lake. And he went all the way till his neck. And b'shas he went all the way to his neck, mitamol, the lake disappeared. And Avram Avinu saw the whole thing was a dimion. It was just an illusion, an imagination. It wasn't a real lake, it was nothing. It was just an nisoyin. So the Rebbe says that the ganzer Inyan from Hey Teves, the Tzad Shekeneged, was only a nisoyin. It was not real. So the Rebbe says, don't write any books about it and don't make all it doesn't exist bechlal. It was only an isoyin for what? To lift us up, but it's not the real thing. Why am I saying it? Because in the Inyan Nisyanis, Shabbos Vayigash, doesn't even Shabbos Vayichi. Shabbos Vayigash, which was the first Shabbos after Teves, the Rebbe brought a point in the Inyan for Nisyanis, what that explains us, because how could you say, what is the Rebbe went to the Ale for 21 days or 17 days of the Mishpet. And the Rebbe had Meredek Agmas Nefesh. And there was the whole story with the Rebbe's foot in Chavzayin, Chafei Hoder, Memvov. And there was and the whole thing is a dimion. It's an illusion. What does that mean? So the Rebbe explains in Shabbos Vayigash, Tovshin Mem Zayin, which is the Shabbos within the 7 days of the 8 Teves, 3 days after 8 Teves. And the Rebbe brings out the point that la'acha the 6 generations of the Rabbeim, was they have them ge'akert and gezeit, as they planted and they took care of the Ilone de Chayev, the tree of life of Chassidus. Now in the 7th generation, the Rebbe says, what was left? The Rebbe is quoting that the ganzer inyan from Teves, the Rebbe says, was the moshel that the Friedrich Rebbe gives in Boselegani. The famous moshel that the Rebbe kocht sich in alle Boseleganis, about the moshel from a melech. That when there is a king who has eitzres, he has treasures that he protected from generations to generations from all the kings, and he never shows to anybody. But b'shas it comes a war, the king is spreading, says to his Anshe Chayil and to his Mefagdim, he says, take all the treasures to win the war. Everybody knows that one of the third Yechidus that Aguch had with the Rebbe, Dalet Tishrei Tovshim and Vov, so Aguch came to ask the Rebbe that somebody in Aguch offered to make a pshorah. And al pi seichel, they were right. Because what did they said? Why to have the Rebbe's Agmas Nefesh? The Rebbe, Agmas Nefesh the Rebbe had, we all know. And to have the old Chil Hashem in the street with the newspapers, the articles and everything. So they said to the Rebbe, what does he want? He wants money. Let's give him money and get away and we have the books. And the Rebbe, remember Hazal Meguraye, when he spoke to the Eilam, he told us how the Rebbe stood by the wall. And remember how he showed us how the Rebbe knocked on the wall. And the Rebbe said, Samilchome in alle Rabbeim, Mechome in alten Rebben. And the Rebbe said, Rebbe Ezrach alle Rabbeim. And the Rebbe says, Samilchome from Binkel. And he pointed to the Rebbe's chair. And they were like in shock. They couldn't believe it. The Rebbe says, Samilchome in alle Rabbeim, Mechome in Binkel. And the Rebbe said, how dare you coming with a pshorah? Did you say Tilim? Did you make a tinies? The Rebbe pointed out that there was a chug, another not Lubavitch chug, they had a problem and they made a fast. The Rebbe said, what did you do? You coming with a pshorah? It's a melchama in the Rabbeim. And the question is, what's the melchama here? He wants money, give him the money away. So when you think what the Rebbe says, Shabbos Vayigash, anybody who learned the Maimon from Boselegani, what's interesting is, from Tovshin Memhei, everyone knows that in Boselegani, Tovshin Yud, in Perek Yud Aleph, is the moshel of the Melech, of the Melchama. It's a Perek Yud Aleph, which is Tovshin Mem Aleph, where the Rebbe Taki spoke about it by Arichas. That's the year when the Rebbe made Tzivis Hashem. The Rebbe spoke by Arichas, the inyan from the moshel, at the Melech, is not only, the Rebbe said, not only that he is willing to give the treasures, but the Melech is willing to mashlich chayav meneged. Why? Because the inyan from Ira Shamayim, the Eitzer, the inyan from the nation should listen to him, and his mission should be accomplished is more important than chayav agluim from his revealed life. Therefore, the Melech is willing not only to give the Eitzer, but to mashlich chayev meneged. But later, there is a few chapters that the Friedrich Rebbe doesn't talk about the moshel, because he goes into what is the Eitzer, and he talks about Ein Sof, L'mayla, and Ketz, L'mayla, and Tachlis, and then he comes back in Perek Chai to speak about it. But from when the Sforim started, which is Tov Shememei, because we all know that in the winter of Tov Shememei, he started to steal the books. The Rebbe in every Maimer Bosenegani of those years, Memhei, Memvov, Memzayin, the Rebbe gave a whole introduction to the Seif, again with the Moshel. And every time he added more details about the Moshel. In Ba'arichas Deilo about the Moshel for the Melchome. And then when it comes to Shofshim Memches, the Rebbe said a meridik word in that Maimer. That was the last Maimer of Bosenegani. And the Rebbe said the Maimer, as Yedua, it says about the Alter Rebbe, whenever the Alter Rebbe wrote something, in Tanya or Chassidus, not only he was praying about himself, that gehalten by them, but he was praying on the Chassidim. And the Rebbe said then, as the same thing about alle Rabbeim, Malam came from the Alter Rebbe, that whenever they spoke about something, they were praying on all the Chassidim. That they affected the Chassidim, as they were gehalten by them. B'shas you think about the moshel from the Melchome, and what the Rebbe said to Aguch, as the Melchome al Rabbeim, and the Rebbe wrote to Ber Levin, b'shas he wrote to the Rebbe what they say, the Rebbe said, Menatzlim Eisel Melchome ba'Aguch, or Ner made as Vilna Sholem. The Rebbe was talking about it as a war, as a Melchome, which means, Melamailot Megivot, that the Rebbe should have a war here. When you look in the video, from the Neir Heide Chanukah, when the Rebbe started to speak about the Mishpet, when the Rebbe sang the Uforatzto, you see the video, about Kofes. The Rebbe was talking in such a strong way that's going for war. Why the Rebbe wanted the war? Because as B'shas, the only way, there is a Maimer for Rebbe, for Yidal Fris Tov Shemei Beis, the Shnas HaShmenim. So the Rebbe says the Maimer Shas HaShmenim Kemei Tzeischa Meret Mitzrayim Arel Nefloes. It's a Meret Maimer. The Rebbe says there, why is it B'shas Mashiach will come? We say Kemei Tzeischa Meret Mitzrayim Arel Nefloes. The Nefloes will be then Kemei Tzeischa Mitzrayim. The Rebbe says B'shas Mashiach will come, will be Sabche Ruach Mavina Oretz. In Mitzrayim he given his Kafir Kiborach Haom. So why do we have to, so do a day maskir to Mitzrayim, I feel the most lost love. Why do we have to mention Mitzrayim? So the Rebbe answers in the Maimer, the Merdike Maimer, the Rebbe answers in the Maimer, I feel lost love, Veshazayin is Habche, in order to receive the Eitzer. The Rebbe brings the old Moshel again from Bosel Egani, from the Eitzer, from the Melchome, that the Eitzer that the Eibishter is revealing is only durch Melchome. Is a feel osid love, will have to remember the inyan from his kafye, because without milchome, the melech does not reveal his eitzer. That says, as the inyan von ganze inyan von his forum, given that the Eibishter wanted to have a milchome, because the ganze inyan von the fact, what is the Rebbe saying? As given a dimion. What does that mean when a dimion? Because the Rebbe said, mit darf nicht reden wegen dem, was a Stuss, sie nicht bemetzies. Because be'emes, al pi seichel, what they did is a total shtus. Because Sayal pi alocha, they couldn't win. As the two poskim who said, Banich semelug, v'chulu, al pi alocha, they couldn't win. Al pi lo, the Friedrich Rebbe said it belongs to Aguch. They could not win this. But the ganze Sache given, as what geführt mir lamailo, that the Rebbe should have a milchome, because the only way to be megala the Eitzer, what those the Rebbe schreibt in the Memorim, was it the Eitzer? The Gilui HaYechid, the Gilui HaAtzmos is only durch HaMelchome. If a film of Mashiach will come, we'll have to remember as Kemei Tzeischa Meret Mitzrayim, as the Gilui HaEitzer, the Gilui von HaYechid, von Atzmos is only because, what? Because the inyan von Iskafia, the inyan von Melchome. That was the Melchome for the Dan Notzach. The Rebbe immediately says to Aguch, some Melchome not the Rebbe, some Melchome from Benkel. The Rebbe took it as a war. Why it's a war? Because a Melech needs the war, because the only way to be Megala the Eitzer. And what is the Eitzer? So the Rebbe said, the erste Sache is Azu B'chaim. The fact that we should feel, that we simple people like us should feel that the Rebbe leapt even Lacha Gimel Tammuz. Das Azach was nur Rabbi felt it. And today every kid feels that the Rebbe is alive here in the aisle. And even freie people, we gesehen a few weeks ago, they brought the families of the hostage, and they all came into the Rebbe, people who are totally not religious. And what happened? A week later, all the hostages start to come out as a fact. And even the Prime Minister said that a few days before we couldn't dream of it. And the players, they came to the Rebbe, and the hostages came out. So what is the Eitzer that the Rebbe was megale? Durch the Milchome, those the Eitzer that are Ubachaim. And the fact, as the Rebbe says in the Maimer, as those is the Gila Echide. What is the Gila Echide? That when it comes, and there is, so here is there are two nekudas that everybody could live with that. What says Hey Teves? What do you mean Hey Teves? The Rebbe says in Vayechi, the Rebbe says, as la'acha, the sixth generation of the Rabbeim, what they did, what they worked. So from now on, the Rebbe says, every issue that there is in Elam Hazeh, it's only an Nisoyin, it's a Dimion, which means if you are Shliach and you have a problem with Balabatim, you should know it's only a Dimion. And therefore, what the Chassidus says, B'shas it comes to a Nisoyin, the work is with you, not with the Nisoyin. When it comes to Biru, you have to work with a piece of bread. You have to make sure it's L'Shem Shamayim, it's a Metzias. But when you have a problem, the Rebbe says, now in our generation, as the Rebbe said later in Vayetze Nun Aleph, the Rebbe said, Nun Beis, as Nistayim Avidas HaBirurim. Today, every problem that person has in life, if it's a bocher who has a nisoyin, if it's a balabos, if a shliach with balabatim, every nisoyin that we have, it's a dimion, the Rebbe says. It's an illusion. And only it depends on you. If you decide, with a taker, from Yechide, the whole thing goes away. Dos Ameridik Azar, the Rebbe says, Dos is Hey Teves. What is Hey Teves? Everything in the world today is only an Nisoyin. It's an illusion. It's a dimion. It has no mitzias. And it depends on you. Nisoyin means you work with yourself, not with the Indian. If you decide that's nothing, it will bottle werden. Dos is deine Vede, nicht dein Biro. So every Nisoyin a Bocher has, or a Shliach has, it's only a dimion. It's an illusion. Dos is Hey Teves. And the second thing the Rebbe says, what is Hey Teves? As in his Gala geworden, the Eitzer. And what is the Eitzer? The Inyan von Gilui Echide. The Inyan von Primus Atik. The Rebbe says in the Maimer, the Rabbi spoke about Primus Atik because they wanted that the Chassidim should have a shaykhs to it. That means that we have today the Eitzer from Rebbe that the Rebbe gave us to each one of us. Dos is Hey Teves. Hey Teves means that the Rebbe, with the Milchome, with the war, he was Megale the Eitzer, and therefore it came 35 years later. The Rebbe says, Dafke Eitzer, noch alle, Bikeshange Shebeshalve, Dafke Eitzer, in the Rebbe said, in the letzte Jahren, nicht meine Jahren, von the Chassidim, the Rebbe said, letzte Jahren gewonnen, why what happened? Because the Rebbe wanted the war. The Rebbe says, Milchome. He didn't want a pshore. Why? Because the Rebbe wanted the war. Because a melech needs the war in order to megala the Eitzer. So b'shas me fired Hey Teves, we have to remember, what is Hey Teves? Hey Teves means that the Rebbe steht in a Isgalus. Und b'shas we make a decision. B'shas Chassidim stehen in Iskasha zum Rebbe, B'meile werden bottle alle Nisyenes, und sie wird, and the Rebbe also said in the Maime from Tovshim Aleph, as Malchus bis David is verbunden mit Midas HaNetzach. Not like Shaul or Satan Vadas, but Dafke David, was again Kabbalah said, is Malchus bis David from Midas HaNetzach, which means as B'shas there is the Inyan von Hey Teves, those is the Malchus bis David. So the Rebbe Ogipaskin, say as everything that happens in the world today is an Nisoyin, a Dimion. And the second thing, the Rebbe Uvgiton, the Rebbe Nitzchius, the Rebbe said Netzach Yisrael Yishaker, and the Rebbe even asked in the Maimeru, Netzach Yisrael Yishaker, the Rebbe steht der Checha von Arz, was ist Netzach Yisrael Yishaker? The Rebbe says, Netzach Yisrael, bei Aiden, wenn Aid ist ein Aiden von einem Nitzochen, das tut auf Lemaila, der Rebbe steht an Nitzochen. Der Rebbe steht Tage ist, dass er nicht am Milchome. But we need a Milchome. So the Rabbi tut es so, b'shas ha'idus ha-melchama, Netzach Yisrael, tut asbiren. So b'shas we have the Dan Notzach von Teves, not